Okay. Welcome to the Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2013 meeting of the Hot Springs Board of Directors. And tonight our invocation will be given by Mary Loy and be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand with me?
Father God, we just thank you tonight that we can come here and meet with these gatekeepers that you've appointed for this time for our city. We pray for them to have your wisdom and understanding and the knowledge they need to act wisely on behalf of the citizens of Hot Springs tonight and during the terms they've been elected to serve. I ask you, Lord, to number their footsteps and order them according to your perfect will. Keep them from entering into unholy alliances on behalf of our city. Let all hidden agendas be revealed to these who are in authority, that they may deal quickly on our behalf to keep Hot Springs on the right path. Father, your word says, where there is no vision, the people perish. So, Lord, I pray you would reveal to them the vision, plans, and divine destiny that you have for Hot Springs. Then, Lord, equip them and plant the desire in their hearts to bring your vision to pass for our city. Lord, as they serve the people of Hot Springs, I ask you to bless them and their families, keep them safe, prosper them, and cause each of them to be a blessing to the people of Hot Springs. And Father, bless our Jewish friends and neighbors as they celebrate at Rosh Hashanah the new Hebraic year of 5774 in these next few weeks. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hereby call this meeting to order. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Davidson.
Here.
Jones. Clark.
Here.
McCabe.
Here.
Garcia.
Here.
Foley.
Here.
Carney.
Here. Okay. The first item of business is to consider the approval of the agenda. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda, including items, if any, to be removed from the consent agenda? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to remove item 16 from the consent agenda and move to the first item of new business.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there anything else to be moved? Okay, there is an amendment to remove item number 16 to the first item of the regular agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this is has been amended, and now I will accept a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is amended or accepted as amended. And the next item of business is to consider the approval of the minutes for the board meeting held on August 20th, 2013. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions, or modifications to the minutes? Okay. Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented above?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. The minutes have been approved. In an effort to afford an equal and orderly opportunity to address the items on tonight's agenda, I want to remind our citizens and our guests that we adhere to a 3-minute limit on your comments. And for your convenience, we will have a clock timer in the monitor and also a little beeper. And we ask out of respect to all of us that you honor this request. And while members of the board may have questions of the speakers, I ask that any general comments reserved for the board discussion after all the speakers have had an opportunity to be heard. We also ask that you silence your cell phones and do so before it goes off, okay? And then silence it after that. Please refrain from any disruptions in the meeting, and should there be a need to leave prior to the conclusion of the meeting, we ask that you do so quietly because we will still be in a session. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you here. And I do want to thank Suzanne Davidson for filling in for me while I was in where was I? California. Yeah. And Mr. Foley was in Germany. And so thank you for carrying on without us. And this week we're missing Elaine, and I think she's recovering from surgery again. So we want to have prayers for her speedy recovery and return. And thank all of you for all of your efforts during the last 2 weeks when we weren't here and we were having fun and you were working. At this time, are there any guests to be recognized? And I think we have Tracy Keaton. Are you here? Yes, with the Garland County Prayer Breakfast. We didn't have your name here, but we have Garland County Prayer Breakfast down.
Good evening. I am here representing Garland County Prayer Breakfast Leadership Committee. And I'm here to invite each of our elected officials to the 24th Annual Garland County Leadership Prayer Breakfast event, which is going to be October the 1st. It's going to be at Hot Springs Convention Center in Horner Hall. And it will begin at 6:20, the early hour in the morning. And we want to invite you all as our honored guests and hope you will be able to attend. Also, I wanted to let you know that we have an exciting speaker this year. We have KTHV's sports announcer, Craig O'Neill, and he is going to speak with us, and the title for this year's program will be Pursue Life. So anyway, I really hope you all will try to join us. And for anyone else who's interested in joining us, the tickets are $20 each. And if you're interested in purchasing a table, it's $160 for a table of 8. And also, we would love to accept any sponsorships, which are $100 each. And I have left all this information on the table at the back of the room for anyone interested. And I think that's all I have. But if y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
We want to thank you so much. Every year this is an awesome event, and I'm not sure that everybody knows, but you invite all the legislators and all the elected officials and everybody. You invite everybody. It's a really neat day. And how many do you usually have?
We usually have between, say, 650 and 700, a lot of people. So anyway, and it's a really neat event, and it shows the level of faith that we have in our community for individuals to get up at that time of the morning and come together. And so anyway, it's a really, really neat, meaningful event, and we hope y'all will join us.
Yeah, and I also want to thank, I don't see him here tonight, Mr. Carnahan is on your board, and y'all work on this all year long, don't you? Meet
yes,
for
we do.
A whole year, so
we do.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for letting me speak to you tonight.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other guests that any of you had? We'll consider all of you our guests. We are grateful that you're here. Thank you for coming. Now we will hear our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. This past weekend, the city hosted the annual e-waste or electronic waste collection point that was held over here at the Convention Center. And our deputy city manager, Bill Burrow, informs me that we had approximately 6 tractor-trailer loads of computers and hard drives and printers and monitors that will now not be disposed of illegally or at least ill-advisedly in our landfills. Also, you may have read in today's paper a picture of Ed Davis smiling. Tomorrow there will be a commemorative plaque placed behind Summit Arena that marks the beginning of the tragic fire of 1913. So 100 years ago, a fire that destroyed about 700 homes, displaced 2,500 people, and literally caused the complete rebuilding of the city at the time occurred. And reading the comments from our A&P director, Steve Arison, in a way it's a symbolic event because it sparks this city, pardon the pun, but it celebrates the city rising from the ashes to rebuild and actually created a whole new fire department and a whole new direction for the city. So if you'd like to attend that plaque ceremony, it's at 3:30. At 4 o'clock, the Garland County Historical Society will hold a presentation in room 201 to give some additional history about the 1913 fire. That's what I have.
That sounds great. And our Ed Davis is full of history. He's not in here, is he? But he really is.
Son's playing football tonight.
Is he playing football? Oh, his
Son.
son. Okay, great. Okay, now we have announcements for upcoming events by our directors. Director Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I would like to announce a public community meeting in District 5 on Thursday, September 5th, this coming Thursday at 4:30 p.m. at the Forest Lakes Clubhouse. The CEO of Visit Hot Springs and the A&P Commission, Steve Arison, will be the speaker and have a presentation. And invite you to attend. Thank you.
Anyone else? Also, tomorrow, is tomorrow? No. When is Thursday? 2 days? Okay.
Tuesdays.
On Thursday, Project Hope meets. I don't know if any of you have been there, but Project Hope is a once-a-month meeting. It's at the Emergency Management facility out across from the community college. And it's all the entities in town that do community service, have any program that's going on, and we all kind of meet together and see what's going on in our community and how to help. And they have task force and different community endeavors. So if you're looking for something to do that's very interesting, it's a good place. They have the food banks and the health department and the National Park Service, and just everybody goes there, and we try to help people. So that's a really good place to go. Project Hope, 11:30, sack lunch at the Emergency Management Facility. Okay, at this time, we'll acknowledge that our financial statements for July 2013 are on file and open for public inspection at the Finance Office located off of Airport Road. And thank you to Retha for that. The next item of business is the consideration of the consent agenda. Items in this section are of a routine nature and will be considered as one item of business without discussion. I will now entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Would you please call the roll?
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye. It's approved. Okay, and the next item of business is to consider resolution.
Item 16.
Oh, item 16 was moved over there. All right, we will now consider item number 16, and what was that titled? Resolution number R13-182. And council, would you please read that?
Resolution R13-182, a resolution awarding a contract to CLB Engineers for certain professional services, engineering design for installation of a second tertiary filter for use at the Southwest Wastewater Plant. That concludes the reading. If you now entertain a motion and a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And discussion by Mr. Burris.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Bill Burrow. This is out at our Southwest Wastewater Treatment Plant. It's the second tertiary filter, and this is basically a design project. It's not the filter itself. Staff recommends approving professional services contract with CLB Engineers for engineering design to install that tertiary filter. CLB was selected after staff performed the required rank and rate process. These services are provided in a proposed agreement with a not-to-exceed amount of $49,500. CLB was selected after staff again performed that rank and rate process. They were the second highest rated firm. The first rated firm submitted a proposal, however, their proposed cost exceeded the budget. Staff contacted CLB, who submitted a cost proposal within the expected budgetary amount. This will be our first project with CLB. Staff has completed our due diligence in speaking with references and reviewing the SOQ to reach this recommendation. This project will install a second tertiary filter, which will provide needed redundancy and enable staff to take a filter offline for repair or any maintenance that may be needed. This will also enable operations of the filters in normal state during any type of a high flow event. Basically, this tertiary filter is a mirror image of the tertiary filter that exists today. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have on this particular proposal.
You have questions? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And I do want to thank Bill for answering the questions that I had previously, and you gave a good summary. And then I had a couple of follow-up questions. You may have gotten back to me that I was out this afternoon and didn't get to read, and I wanted to make sure that everybody understood why the recommendation was not to go with what was rated and ranked the highest, which is usually our policy on these type of services, isn't it?
That is correct. We would normally go with the first rated firm if they were within our budgetary constraints. However, the particular firm that was rated the highest was about $98,000 more than this particular firm, but beyond that, we only budgeted between $50,000 and $60,000 for engineering services, and it was well over that amount. So we rejected that particular SOQ and went with the next rated firm. And once we started negotiations with them, they gave us a proposal that fell within our budget.
And was there any contingency? I was just concerned why a firm that had never done any work here was so much different from a firm that does work here on a regular basis, to make sure we've got all our risk covered.
I wish I could answer this question better, because we also had that same concern. However, we called the references that were in the packet. We actually also spoke with other engineering firms that have worked with this company in the past. We had no negative responses from anyone that we spoke to regarding CLB. So we felt like we did a pretty fair amount of due diligence in trying to make sure that this particular company would perform a good job for the city of Hot Springs, and we feel like we've done that.
And did our city engineer do diligence on this? And
yes, he did. We had our city engineer and two others on his staff, as well as the plant manager for the Southwest Wastewater Treatment Facility, all involved in that rate and ranking process.
And is the city engineer familiar or concerned about any potential risk?
Not that he conveyed, no, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bill, what is the procedure when there is such a wide disparity in prices? Is there a check to see if they really understood the specs before they bid?
Yes, there is, and they seem to understand that, Director Foley, as we began those negotiations or began discussions with them. Once we contacted them, they're fully aware of what the scope of work is.
Okay.
And I can tell you that again, even though we have a great relationship with the firm that was rated first, they're great partners with us in other endeavors that we have within our system. On this particular issue, we just could not make it work.
Okay, thank you.
Director Foley, just to follow up on your question, when it's professional services such as this, we do not receive bids. We receive statements of qualifications, and they go through the interview process and actually negotiate the price. So in professional services, there's never a situation where the bidder, if you will, didn't understand what the scope of the work was.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, and there was no one signed up for this, so without further discussion, did you have anything? Anybody? I thought you were raising your hand over there. Okay, without any further discussion, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
No.
Folly,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Okay. All right. So the next item of business is to consider condemnation resolution number R13-185 through 192. Brian, would you please?
Bart, are you ready? Mayor, your first item under Agenda 19 is letter A, Resolution R13-185, condemning certain real property at 108 Mellersh. If you would entertain a motion and second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. It's 108 Mellarsh Street. This is the front of it. This is the inside. You can see there's structural collapse, holes in the ceiling, additional structural damage. Staff recommends condemnation of the structure.
And have you perfected service on the record title holder of this piece of property, Mr. Jones?
Yes, I have.
Anyone here to speak in opposition of Resolution R13-185, condemning certain real property at 108 Mellarsh? 108 Mellarsh. Hearing none, Mayor, and if there's no further discussion?
I do have a question. When we condemn a property, what happens to that property?
If no one comes in to pull a rehab permit, then the city will go out for bids for the demolition of the structure on the property, and once done, we'll place a lien on the property. And if the property sells or changes hands, then we will execute on our lien.
So we will see some affirmative action on it rather than let it sit.
Oh, yes, we will.
Okay,
we will go
great.
through the demolition process.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions? Hearing none, may I have a motion to adopt resolution number R13-185?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Would you please call the roll?
Garcia,
Aye.
Folly,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Mayor, next item is letter B under Agenda Item 19, Resolution R13-186, condemning certain real property at 110 Amber. If you would entertain a motion to second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Do you have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Okay. Do I do all in favor right there? We have discussion
yeah,
before
he's
all
fine.
in favor.
Thank you, Mayor. 110 Amber, two-story structure up off of Park Avenue. You can see the back's been exposed to the elements for a long time. Just for the record, and I should have mentioned it starting out, these are all single-family, detached, vacant structures. So structure is vacant. As you can see from the inside, it's been trashed, structural damage. Structure is open and vacant.
Okay. Any questions?
Notice has been perfected on the record title holder, Mr. Jones.
That is correct.
Any discussion by the board? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of Resolution R13-186, condemning certain real property at 110 Amber? 110 Amber. Hearing none, Mayor, would you please call the roll?
Would you please call the roll?
McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Folly,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Next item is Resolution R13-187, condemning certain real property at 113 Patriot. Mayor, if you would, entertain a motion to second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Jones?
Thank you. 113 Patriot, another structure that has, this is the back of the structure. You can see it's kind of a hoarder situation. It is a vacant structure. We do have service on the owner, Mr. Albright. You can see it's been kind of trashed on the inside, and there's holes in the roof. I think you can see the light coming through in that one spot right there.
Any discussion or questions from the board? Anyone here to speak in opposition of Resolution R13-187, condemning certain real property at 113 Patriot? 113 Patriot. Hearing none, Mayor, if you would call the roll, please.
Please call the roll.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Folly,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Next item is Resolution R13-188, condemning certain real property at 125 Ash. It's the rear house. If you would, Mayor, please entertain a motion and second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Okay, and discussion, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. 125 Ash, rear structure again, open, vacant. We do have service to the owner. Have met her over there. She's doesn't live in town, but she came into town. Again, structural deterioration. The roof's leaking through the building. It's been trashed. All the wire and plumbing's been cut out of it.
What use is being made of the other structure that's on that lot?
That structure faces Ash. This one is on the back of it, and she has plans to rehab that structure and and possibly move back here later, retire, and move back to Hot Springs.
But they are on the same parcel?
They are on the same parcel.
Any discussion from the board?
Yeah, what does that do when we condemn one and it's on a parcel with the other? Do we just get a partial?
Well, it's just the structure that's being condemned and demolished. The title to the underground remains with the record title holder, and any other permanent fixtures that are there go with the land.
She has implied that she may take it down herself, and that'd be great, but we're just trying to get in a position where we can if she doesn't.
Okay. And then we don't place a lien on that if we have to?
We will place a lien if we take it down. If we pay for the demolition, we will place a lien on the property.
Okay.
Yes. Anyone here to speak in opposition of Resolution R13-188, condemning certain real property at 125 Ash, the rear structure? 125 Ash. Hearing none, Mayor, if you would please call the roll.
Please call the roll.
Garcia,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Mayor, next item on the agenda is Resolution R13-189, condemning certain real property at 267 Glade. If you would, please entertain a motion to second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
So moved.
Second. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. 267 Glade. This structure has a lot of damage to the roof. It's been leaking through. There's substantial structural damage. It's been open for quite some time. You can see where it's coming through and damaged the floor. The structure, as Mr. Albright and I were speaking earlier, did trade hands or sold recently, and we are talking to the new owner to see whether they want to tear it down or we would end up tearing it down, or they may even fix it. So.
And was that conveyance after you had perfected service on the previous owner?
That is correct.
Any discussion from the board or questions in light of mine?
This new owner, does it seem like that they actually will make some attempt to do something with this house?
He wants to meet me up there, and we're going to kind of evaluate it to see whether it's worth it or not. But if it is, he may want to save it.
Okay.
Anyone here to speak in opposition of Resolution R13-189, condemning certain real property at 267 Glade? 267 Glade. Hearing none, Mayor, if you'd please call the roll.
Foley,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Mayor, your next item is Resolution R13-190, condemning certain real property at 344 Crescent. If you would, please entertain a motion and a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. 344 Crescent Street. Again, you've got the structure has been exposed to the elements for quite some time. It's open, vacant. Have spoken to the owner. We do have proof service on the owner. You can see it has structural damage. The roof's been leaking, and it's been kind of looted. So.
Okay.
Any questions or discussion from the board?
Bart, the owners of these homes, are there multiple homes under one owner on these properties?
It varies. It varies from case to case. This gentleman happens to own 3 or 4, but sometimes that's not the case.
Are they in the same condition?
Not always. It really does vary from case to case.
I'm assuming we put out some public notice as to the condemnation process. Do we list the owner of these properties in that condemnation notice?
Not in the one that goes in the paper. We do mail to their address, and typically I'll get proof of notification that they received that notice, but we do not put their names in the paper, just the address.
Have we ever had owners that had repeat condemnations?
Yes, ma'am, we do, occasionally.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would you please call the roll?
Well, Mayor, just was
yeah. Oh, yeah.
due process issues. Anyone here to speak in opposition to Resolution R13-190 condemning certain real property at 344 Crescent? 344 Crescent. Hearing none, Mayor, if you now call the roll.
All right, now.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Next item, Resolution R13-191 condemning certain real property at 405 Gaines. Mayor, if you would, please entertain a motion, a second to adopt, and have discussion, if any.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Jones.
Thank you. 405 Gaines, as you can see, it has extreme structural collapse. I don't know if you can tell there, but the floor is just falling away. Huge hoses in the floor. The roof's been leaking for years. This is one that we actually condemned several years ago. The owner came in, got some permits, secured it, did a little bit of work on it, and then just faded out. Didn't ever finish the project, so we're bringing it back to the board at this point.
Okay. Any questions?
Any questions or discussion from the board? Anyone here to speak in opposition of Resolution R13-191 condemning certain real property at 405 Gaines? 405 Gaines. Hearing none, Mayor, if you would, please call the roll.
McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Last item under condemnations, Mayor, is Resolution R13-192 condemning certain real property at 413 Ridgeway. If you would, please entertain a motion, a second to adopt, and have discussion, if any.
Is there a motion to adopt? A second? Okay.
Second.
Okay. Mr.
Thank you, Mayor. 413 Ridgeway doesn't look that bad from the front. However, it is open, vacant. You can see the windows are busted out on the side. The roof's been leaking. It's been looted. They've cut all the copper and all that out of it. So,
Any discussion or questions from the board? Anyone here to speak in opposition of Resolution R13-192 condemning certain real property at 413 Ridgeway? 413 Ridgeway. Hearing none, Mayor, if you would please call the roll.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bart. The next item of business is to consider resolution number R13-193. Council, would you please read the resolution by title?
Resolution R13-193, a resolution approving an agreement with First Tech, Inc. for utility bill payment and processing services. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would now entertain a motion and a second to adopt, and have discussion, if any.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. And discussion. Who has that one? You?
I can handle it. Mr. James Nixon with our municipal customer operations. As he comes up, I can kind of introduce it. This is comes before you to approve an agreement with First Tech Incorporated for the bill pay and presentment. We issued an RFP back in April. I believe we had approximately 10 vendors submit proposals. Obviously, First Tech was the highest rated proposal, and I'll allow James to kind of step through some of the portions of the agreement. We, just as a side note, we also, our current provider is iPayX with Matrix doing the bill pay or the bill printing. So that's our current provider, and this one would be to approve an agreement with First Tech Incorporated. You want to go ahead, James?
Mayor, directors, We're asking to change vendors.
Would you move the mic over in front?
Okay,
Here you
sorry
go.
about that. Let
So
me
we
try
can
that
get you
again.
taped.
Thank you. We're asking to change vendors is what we're doing. We're currently providing this service now, but we've had a few issues with our current provider. We have a lot of customer complaints about it not being a very user-friendly service. So that is our main goal, is to make it better for our customers. There's a small increase of we right now annually run about $230,000 a year. To go to First Tech, we'll be up to $237,000 a year. But with the increase, we would gain some features that we currently don't have with the Matrix and iPayX people. One of the things that we would get would be the city-approved pay stations without the city. In other words, it would not do away with our walk-in customers that would come to Airport Road to make a payment, but we would have an opportunity for the customers to go someone else and make the payment that would have our information that we needed. Because one of the problems that we have with our current vendor is sometimes we receive payments and we don't know where to put them. So it's a kind of a crapshoot where we don't know where the payment goes. So there's some customers that get their service disrupted because we couldn't find their payment to give it to them. One of the other things we would do would be a traditional lot box where we have the mail payments go to a central location. They would process that mail payment and send it to us in an electronic form where we won't have to process that payment. Currently, on the mail payments, we go to the post office every day, pick up the payments, process the payments, with our current staff. This would also help free up some time for us to take care of our phone calls. We have a lot of trouble sometimes answering the phones when it's really, really busy. So this would free up staff to not process payments, but also answer the phones. And it would just make us a little bit more easier staff that way. There's not a reduction in staff or anything like that. We still need the same staffing level, but we'll be able to reorganize our stuff a little bit. Okay. One of the other things that we get now that we don't have a feature we don't have is to be able to pay by mobile technology, text payments, stuff like that. We do not have that capability now. We have a lot of people ask us for that quite a bit, and that's one of the big advantages of doing this. Also, we would be able to have inquiry. The customers will be able to get more detailed, up-to-date information than what we do with our current vendor. Now they have to wait till we make a payment, process a new bill before they show that on their account. This will be more of a live integrated system for us to do, so there'll be benefits all the way around for the customer.
Okay, do you have questions? Yes. I received a couple of calls this afternoon because it wasn't clear to the citizen, a business owner, about this item. And so to summarize what I understood that you said regarding the current vendor, IPX, that you're asking to change vendors is to address customer complaints and to provide better customer service and some features that customers wanted that we're currently not able to provide with the current vendor.
Yes.
And there are no staff positions that are impacted by this. It's more of the electronic vendor servicing and software.
Yes.
And there will be additional locations in the city that customers can pay their bills. And can you give examples of what that might be, or do you have any identified?
Well, no, we don't have one any identified right now. First Tech would go into that arrangement with the vendor that we would have final say. Say, for example, we wanted to use, say, Kroger, just to pick someone. It would have to be approved by us for them to be able to do that. Then you're still going to have the other payment places around the convenience stores and stuff like that. Customers can still use those. But we would suggest or ask them to consider going to our approved pay stations, because we know that information that's going to be provided back to us, we'll be able to get it to their account. We'll have all the necessary information to do it. So
a customer could pay their water bill if the grocery store they trade at accepted the payment. They could pay their water bill at their grocery store.
Yes.
And then there's a additional fee that the customer would have to pay?
Most of the convenience fees now they pay now is at the grocery stores, whatever, that's kept by the grocery store. That doesn't come to the city in any way, form, or fashion. You have a $100 bill, they collect $101, they keep the dollar, send us the $100.
Okay. And then in the agreement, it had training listed out, and it listed out then that the training that was covered with these providers. But what about any staff training? Is there staff training needed, included in this?
There will be a change for us, to implement the whole project. But they would be responsible for the training on the pay stations or anything like that. It would be an agreement where if anything needs to be provided, training, supplies, whatever, would be First Tech's cost, would not be our cost.
But are they including training to
Yes.
you and
Yes.
the staff as well? Because I didn't read where they included that in the agreement. They had it spelled out for these providers, but not for the city employees.
Yeah, as we implement through the process, we'll go through, and then there will be training after we get everything in place for us to be able to do it, because we want to make a really smooth transition, over, and so we'll really hit that hard.
And it listed out the cost, and then on the lock boxes, it said there was a lock box fees.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in addition to that monthly amount?
Well, we currently don't have a lockbox fee now on the traditional lockbox, so that would be the new feature. So that would be
There would be.
Yeah.
Is it a max?
Yeah, that particular, that was based off our current billing numbers. So that fee I think it's $21.36 or something to that effect. That is based off our current billing volume. So that's not an additional cost. That's part of the total cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's included in all of it.
So
right.
with all the fees and everything, it's still just a net of $7,000.
Yes. With all the changes.
Is all of this included in our budget?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
I also had a call about this. Is there going to be any increased cost from this to the customers?
No, there's no cost now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate you
thanks.
being here. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. McCabe,
Aye.
Garcia,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye. Okay. And it's approved. The next item of business is to consider ordinance number O-1352. First, I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, council, would you please read by title?
Ordinance O-1352, an ordinance assigning initial zoning to certain lands annexed by ordinance number 5954 to the City of Hot Springs, 4600 Central Avenue, and for other purposes. That concludes the reading. You can now entertain a motion and a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. And discussion. Are you presenting that one?
Actually, I'll be
Okay.
handling that. Kathy was not feeling well, so she.
Okay.
This item comes to you kind of as the last process within the annexation, as is detailed in state law. This is to assign the zoning to this piece of property. As I said, you've kind of seen this 4600 Central Avenue item come to you through several iterations within the annexation process. This comes to you from the Planning Commission. They unanimously recommended C4 zoning, which is in place with everything within the area. This is the Easy Mart. For those not aware where this is at, this is the Easy Mart located on right at the confluence of Central and Higdon. This particular zoning that is being proposed will not adversely affect the business in any way. So the recommendation is to assign C4 zoning for this 4600 Central Avenue.
Okay. Do we have any? There was no one signed up and no one here to speak to that. So do you have any questions, board members? Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Garcia.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Davidson.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Okay, it's adopted. The next item of business is to consider ordinance number 1353. First of all, I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
I so move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Council, would you read by title only, please?
Ordinance 01352, an ordinance waiving the requirements of competitive bidding for the purchase of certain real property, 421 Leewood Street, for City Services Center and for other purposes. That concludes the reading. You can now entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
And a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. And discussion, Mr. Spies.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. I'm Greg Spies, Fleet Service Director for City of Hot Springs. I was contacted by the owner of a property at 421 Leewood about the possibility of the city purchasing that property. This parcel is located directly across the street from the City Services Center, and it's one block north of other property that the city owns for the street department's material lot. The price was tentatively negotiated for the price of $3,500, which is less than half of the county appraiser's estimated market value. Appraisal was not considered feasible because the cost would be more than 10% of the purchase price. The benefits of this purchase would be any future expansion needs for the City Services Center. We don't have any current plans except for those future, needs. The fiscal impact is $3,500 plus closing cost, which could be used from the building improvement savings in the 2013 Fleet Service Capital Fund. And I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
Okay. You have questions? Yes.
Greg, do we own the property on either side of this property?
We do not own the property. It's one lot north of the property that we own on Leewood.
Okay. And is it part of a strategic growth plan for us in terms of the service center itself?
Yes, sir. For several years, we've been purchasing the properties contiguous to the City Services Center when they become available, and we have been offered these properties as we go along. As a matter of fact, this parcel is owned by a person that we bought other property on Leewood Street.
Okay, thank you.
One of the benefits, Director Foley, of being able to go south off of Leewood from Services Center instead of having to go down one of the other streets. One way you can't go south because of the trestle, and another way you got sharp turns with Moat Street. This would allow southerly access.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the street department, to get to their materials lot, they actually have to go around the block. So we're hoping in the future someday that we could open up that to be able to let the trucks go right straight through there instead of going out Shady Grove and Hollywood.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Davidson.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Foley.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
Adopted.
Okay. And it's adopted, yes. The next item of business is consider ordinance number 01354. I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
So moved.
And a second? Okay. We consider one of those a second.
Second.
So moved. Okay. I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read by title only. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And council, would you please read the ordinance by title?
Ordinance 01354, an ordinance waiving the requirements of competitive bidding for certain professional services, generator monitoring services, awarding the contract to Brown Engineers, and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you now entertain a motion, a second to adopt, and have discussion, if any.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. And discussion.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Bill Burrow. Staff recommends waiving of competitive bidding for necessary work related to installation of generating monitor project. This specific scope of work will be performed for a lump sum of $144,750 by Brown Engineers. Staff further recommends we establish this generator monitoring system as our standard for all generator installations. This project will equip 15 additional sites with the generating monitor system we currently use at Music Mountain Pump Station, as well as our Ouachita Water Treatment Facility. As we continue to provide backup power generators at our primary facilities, the need to ensure their operability is crucial. We have been utilizing the current generator monitoring system at the Music Mountain and Ouachita sites previously noted, and the data provided via the monitoring system has been invaluable. This system will continually monitor and report vital generator data to us via email alerts. The generator will also start on predetermined times and report that operational status and readiness back to our staff with selected data reports established by us. As noted, this service has been in place for both our water treatment facility and water pumping station for a number of years. This system we are advocating use of is the system utilized by RP Power. Kohler Emergency Power Systems as our standard monitoring system. Of the 17 sites we propose to monitor, 2 of those are already in place. Only 1 site does not have a Kohler brand generator. Kohler has proven to be a reliable, cost-effective generator to date. Our larger generators at the Ouachita, Music Mountain, and Gulf of Wastewater Pump Station sites utilize the Kohlers as well. The competitive bidding for each project is a statement to the competitive pricing by the Kohler brand generators. The overall goal of installing backup power to the listed sites will ensure reliable operations during storm events or utility power disruptions. This is also a method to ensure we remain compliant with our CAO mandate for dry weather events, which typically those overflows are caused by the loss of electrical power. The ability to monitor the generators and be confident they are fully operational is vital to our efforts. The annual monitoring cost for the service can also be reduced from $1,200 to $1,000 per site if we utilize the same monitoring system for all sites. Again, the fiscal impact is $144,750. This will be funded by the wastewater fund operating funds. Should we pass a wastewater fund, should the wastewater fund issue bonds, the operating funds will be reimbursed out of those future bond proceeds. I'd be glad to answer any questions. I know that was a long discussion, but I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? Well, you did a good job.
Thank you.
No questions. Would you please call the roll?
Davidson.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Folly.
Aye.
Carney.
Aye. The motion is approved. Ordinance is adopted. Okay. That concludes the business section of tonight's meeting, and now we will have commentaries from the Board of Directors, and Mr. Foley has one comment.
I have 2. At the risk of neglecting people who deserve this compliment, I want to thank Bill Burrow and the city staff who addressed the 20-inch water main break with due haste. For the public, I guess we have a 24-inch line providing water to the system, and this was a break in a 20-inch line, so you can imagine the volume of water that had to be addressed. So I just want to say thank you to you and the crew for getting on that so quickly. And the second thing I would like to say is we have a lady in our community who has dedicated the majority of her life, to making sure that the issues of the city, good and bad, were presented to the public at large in as much of an open-air environment as she could possibly make it. And I was wondering if this board could express through some resolution or whatever, the proclamation of appreciation for her service to this community, and that's Melinda Gassaway.
Okay. This will give us a week, and we'll get something together.
Be great. Thank you.
Good. Yes.
I would like to reiterate what Director Foley said on the water issue. I was receiving phone calls. It was after hours. The weekend, long holiday weekend had started, and Bill was very quick to respond and monitor, and the entire crew from the utilities, the full crew was out there and working as hard as they could to restore water and water pressure to all of the residents that were impacted. And then I understand that this afternoon there was some additional work because some of the clamp on that line didn't hold and there had to be additional repair work. And again, appreciate everything that all of our departments at any time are called upon to work beyond the call of duty, and they're ready to step up and meet the challenge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything? Okay, I'd like Minnie. Is she back there hidden behind Bill? Would you come up and tell us about the two retirees we had from the Public Works Department this week? I forgot both their names, but I know you know them well, and how many years they served, and we'll just give them a
I'm Minnie Lennox, Human Resources Director for the City of Hot Springs. And last week we had 2 long-term employees retire from the street department. One was the street department manager, who was Clarence Galbert, who had served the city for 35 years on our records, 2 years with the CETA program. So he really had a total of 37 years with the City of Hot Springs.
Let's just give him a hand.
The second employee was Kenny Harbecker, and Kenny Harbecker was a crew leader with the street department, and he had been at the street department for 34 and a half years total. So these two gentlemen had a total of 71 years, 71 and a half years with the city, and they will be missed, but they are leaving a legacy behind that those that are picking up the torch and taking it forward will take it to the next level. So we appreciate the work they did, the impact they've made on the city of Hot Springs, and we just wish them Godspeed.
That is great. And it was a good day there. All of them were together having lunch together and received their awards, and a big, huge cake, a lot of hot dogs.
Yes.
It was great. Thank you. Thanks so much. And thanks all of the workers for our city. Sometimes I was telling Minnie, sometimes the average person overlooks. You just go by a group of people working in the street and you just go around them and keep going. And since I've been in this position, I never go by anybody without thinking, wow, you're out there making our city a better place to live. And we just appreciate every one of you. And sometimes if the traffic's not too heavy, I'll pull over beside them and say, thanks, appreciate that. I know they don't know who I am, but it's okay. And I just want to thank all of you that give your time to our city to make it a better place, and especially those who have been around for 34 years. Let's give them both a good hand. Yes, ma'am.
Last Friday, the proposals were due for community development block grants, and I understand that about 5 have been submitted. And due to our earlier discussions about these issues this past year, the folks that had never submitted before, you will be seeing some new proposals for infrastructure issues, and we appreciate that opportunity for them to do that.
Right.
Thank you.
And you had a comment, I think.
I received a Western Union telegraph from the captain of the cheerleading squad, who has been the state champions for 13 of the last 15 years at War Memorial Stadium tonight with Chief Davis's son. And after a long battle with Little Rock Christian, 45-49 loss.
Oh,
Wait, that was close.
well, tell her a great job on the TV this morning. Give a little recognition to Mr. What is your name? Mr. Albright's daughter was on the. What's her first name?
Madeline.
Madeline was on TV this morning.
Not the Secretary of State.
Good job.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, anything else? Everybody done? Okay, that immediately following the adjournment of tonight's business meeting, there will be a public commentary here in the board chambers. And for those of you who will be leaving, please do so quietly. And we have Mr. Lewin signed up, so hang on. Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming. Okay, we'll wait just a few minutes.